And so now simplifying, what's 2 to the 0? 1. So 1 times 1 would be 1. X to the 5th. 5 times 2? 10. X to the 4th. What's 2 squared equal to?
40, not 4. No, times 10. Oh, you're looking. Yeah, I did it at the same time. 4.
So 2 squared gives you 4. So 10 times 4 would be 40. X to the 3rd. And then what's 2 to the 3rd?
8.
8. 8 times 10 is 80. X squared. What's 2 to the 4th?
60.
Use your calculator. Go get a calculator if you don't have one. Because I know how to do it. You guys don't.
16.
16.
Sounds like you said 60.
So 16 times 5? 80. So it's 80x. And then we have 1 times x to the 0 times 2 to the 5th. What's 2 to the 5th?
No, wait, what's going on?
32. So what's x to the 0?
1.
1. 1 times 1 times 32 then would be 32. So this is our answer here. Big long answer. Okay, so now that's what we did on Friday or Thursday. So now we're going to do x minus 2 to the 4th. What's different?
It's subtraction.
It is now subtraction. Is this the same as x plus negative 2 to the 4th? So we're going to do the same thing we did, except instead of putting just a 2 in here, we're going to put a negative 2 in place of the 2. So whenever you have a minus, you just have to put in a negative number. So we're going to go from the 4th row in Pascal's triangle, which is 1. And again, now we're going to take 1 times x to the 4th. That determines where you start. And then that's times negative 2 to what exponent? 0. Questions on how we got that 0? Okay. So now the next term is going to be, so we use this coefficient. Now we're going to use the 4 as the coefficient. What's the exponent on the x? 3. And negative 2 to the 1. And then my next term will be 6 times x to the, Gianna, what's the exponent on the x? Yes? And then what about the negative 2, Gianna? Yep. And then my next term, 4. What's the exponent on the x? Alina? Pardon me?
No, what?
Can you get a hint? Is that what you said? No, I want you to look at it. So what's happening with your exponents on the x's? What's your pattern? It's going to be a 1. That's right. And then what about the negative 2, Alina? What's the exponent on the negative 2, Alina? 1. So the exponent on the x's go down. 4, 3, 2, 1. So these exponents go up. 0, 1, 2, 3. So then my last term is going to be 1 times x to the 0, negative 2 to what exponent? Four. So now we're going to simplify. Negative 2 to the 0. What is negative 2 to the 0? 1. Okay, it doesn't matter that it's negative 2. It's still going to be a 1. So this is going to be x to the 4th. You can cross it out if you want. And then this is negative 2 times 4, which would be negative 8, x to the 3rd. And then what's negative 2 squared? Negative 2 squared would be 4. So 6 times 4 would be 24, x squared. What's negative 2 to the 3rd? Negative 2 quantity to the 3rd.
8. Minus. Negative 8.
Negative 8. So I know how to do this. So if a lot of you are just talking when I'm doing this, I know how to do it. So I don't want to just talk to myself. It's not hard. It's just a lot of steps. So this is a negative 8 times 4, which would be negative 32x. What's negative 2 to the 4th?
Negative 16. Negative 16.
For two different answers, I heard 116 and one negative 16. Please, you need to know how to do this on your calculator. So get a calculator and do it on your calculator. Or I'd rather you have your own, so pull your own out if you have your own. It is not negative 16, it is 16. When you put it in your calculator, you have to put parentheses around the negative 2. So this gives us positive 16, so this is plus 16. Pay attention. What do you notice about the signs? They alternate, don't they? Positive, negative, positive, negative, positive. They'll always do that if you've done it right. Okay, next one, number 3. Okay, x minus 4 to the 3rd. So we're using row, which row in Pascal's triangle? 3rd row. 1, 3, 3, 1. 1 times x to what exponent?
3. No.
Yeah, 3. So this determines it. And then negative 4 to what exponent? 0. So, David, what coefficient do I use on the next one? I just used the 1, so I'm going to use 3. And then what's the exponent on the x? 2. And what about the negative 4? Yes, good. And then the next one is 3 times x to what exponent, Kylie? Good. And then the negative 4? Good. And then the last one, 1 times x to the 0 and negative 4 to the 3rd. So simplifying, that negative 4 to the 0 is 1. So this would be x to the 3rd. This is negative 4 times 3. What is that?
12.
Negative 12, x squared. And you cross them out as you do them. And then what's negative 4 quantity squared? 16 times 3 would be 48. So 48x. And then negative 4 to the 3rd. What's that? Negative 64. So then this would be minus 64. And that's your answer. So I'm going to temporarily skip number 4. We'll come back to it. Go ahead and do the U try. And I'm going to change that U try just to a different number. I'm going to change this to a 3. Do x minus 3 to the third. If you already finished it, that's fine. Okay, so okay, this should be your answer. X to the third minus 9x squared plus 27x minus 27. Questions on that? Again, we're using what we did on Thursday. We're okay with that? You ready to move on to the next example? Okay, what's different on number 4? The size of U, what U? 2U. So that's the first time we've got a coefficient in front of the variable. Okay, so same idea as the last one when we had that negative that we had to put in. We're still going to go 1, 5, 10, 10, 5, 1, fifth row. And instead of putting in a 2U, or U, just we're going to put in a 2U. So 2U to what exponent?
1. 5.
5. This determines the exponent for the first one. So times 1 to the
0.
What's the exponent on the 1? 0. Next term starts with a 5. Trace, what's my exponent on the 2U? Yes, it is 4. What is the exponent on the 1?
1.
start with 0 here, so we're going to go up 1. There we go. And then the next one, 10. 2u to what exponent? 3. And then 1 squared. And then 10 again. 2u. What's the exponent on the 2u? 2. And then times 1 to the 3. 1 exponents are going up. And then 5 times 2u to the 1 times 1 to the 4th. And then the last term, 1, 2u to the 0. 1, I'm going to make this a little smaller. And then we're simplifying. What is 2u quantity to the 5th? So this is where that formula comes in. What is 2u to the 5th? Yes, 32u to the 5th. Since it's just times 1 to the 0, it's just times 1. What's 2u to the 4th?
It's almost the same.
So what's 2u quantity to the 4th? 16u to the 4th. 5 times 16u to the 4th. 80 u to the 4th, because the 1 to the 1 is just what? 1. So that really doesn't affect it, does it? We did this one, we did this one. What's 2u to the 3rd? 8. Hayden, what's 2u quantity to the 3rd? 8u to the 'Because remember, you got to take the u to the 3rd also. So it's 8u to the 3rd. So that would be 80 u to the 3rd, because 1 squared is 1. So we don't need to multiply that by a number. Just times 1. So then 2u quantity squared, 4u squared. And then this would be 10u. And then the last term is going to be 1. And that's your final answer. Okay, if you were taking a multiple choice test, like some sort of standardized test, like the CAS, which juniors will be taking this year, they will not say expand it. They might say instead what it says on number 6 and 7. They'll say, let's just get one term in that expansion. So we don't want to have to expand the whole thing out. We just want to find that one term. So we're going to start out by doing just what we did before. Coefficients on 4, exponent would be 1, 4, what comes next? 6, 4, 1. Okay, so the x starts with the 4. And then what does it do with the 4? Goes what direction? Down. So 4, then 3, then 2, then 1, then 0. And then the 3, which is our second term there for our binomial, starts with 0, then 1, 2, 3, 4. Or you can say on the far right starts with 4 and goes down as you go to the left. So we want to do the fourth term. So how do we find which one is the fourth term? How do we do it?
You just count it.
You just count. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. So it is this term here. So we're going to find the fourth term. It's we count to the fourth. Coefficient is 4. Exponent on the x is a 1. Exponent on the 3 is a 3. And then we simplify it. 3 to the third is 27. We multiply that by 4. What's 27 times 4? 108 x. So that would be our fourth term. Can we do one more? Just like that. Now we're going to find the second term in this expansion. So we have, this is to the fifth. So we're going to use fifth row Pascal's triangle. 1, 5, 10, 10, 5, 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I always like when I write it down, I always like to check and make sure that the number of numbers I put there are right, because sometimes my numbering won't be great. So how do I know that the number is correct here? What's the pattern with how many numbers are here for the fifth row? Fifth row has how many terms? 6. So because it's the fifth row, you just add 1 to that, it's going to be 6. So now for our 3y, so the 3y, we start with 5, coming from here, and then we go up or down? Down. 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. And then this is a positive 1 or a negative 1? Negative 1. We start with exponent of, what exponent do we start with? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And so we want to find our second term. We count 1, 2. So this is the second term in the expansion. Exponent is 5. Exponent on the 3y is 4. I'm going to move this up. And then I'm going to take my negative 1 to the exponent of 1, and then simplify. What's 3y quantity to the 4th? So just the 3y to the 4th, what would that be? Use your calculator. 81, y to the 4th. And then we take 81 times 5. 405, and it would be negative because of the negative 1. And then that's y to what exponent? To the 4th. Questions on that?